It's 1:13 a.m. You're in bed, phone 6 inches from your face, and you're doing that thing again. One tab is how to start a clothing brand. Another tab is beginner chess openings. Another tab is learn Blender in 30 days. Somewhere in the background, there's a half-finished book you swore you'd write, a language app you used for 9 straight days, and a guitar sitting in the corner like it's judging you. And the worst part is, you're not even having fun anymore. You feel kind of electrified, kind of guilty, like your brain is a fireworks show, but your life is a quiet, unfinished driveway. By the end of this video, you'll understand why having too many interests isn't a personality flaw. It's a specific kind of mind. And I'm going to prove it with real psychology. The way researchers describe curiosity, novelty seeking, and how some brains are literally wired to chase new, like it's oxygen. Because the common myth is simple. People with too many interests are flaky, undisciplined, commitment phobic. They start things for the aesthetic of starting, then quit when it gets hard. And yeah, sometimes it looks like that from the outside. But I don't know if this makes sense, but I think that explanation is lazy. It's the kind of story people tell when they've never lived inside your head. The real story is stranger. It's less, you lack willpower, and more, your operating system is different. So let me give you one weird metaphor, and I promise I'll stick to it. Imagine your brain is a glitchy 90s computer, not the sleek laptop we have now. I'm talking chunky monitor, dial-up internet screaming like a wounded robot, Windows 95 vibes, and a desktop full of random icons you swear you'll organize later. Now imagine that computer has one special feature. It doesn't get rewarded for finishing files. It gets rewarded for discovering new ones. That's the first scientific layer people miss. Curiosity isn't just, I like learning. Psychologists have described different flavors of curiosity. There's the focus kind where you want one specific answer, and there's the scattered, hungry kind where you want stimulation, variety, novelty, anything that makes the brain feel awake. Researchers often call that second one diversive curiosity. If you've got diversive curiosity turned up, your mind isn't trying to be annoying. It's trying to regulate itself. It's scanning the room like, what's interesting? What's fresh? What's worth chasing? The same way that old computer keeps hunting for a new program because the current one stopped giving it that little hit of wow. And here's where it gets spicy. A lot of people with a too many interests brain also score high in a trait called openness to experience. That trait is basically a built-in preference for novelty, variety, and exploring ideas that don't match your current life. It's the part of you that sees a random documentary about bees and suddenly thinks, wait, should I become a beekeeper? Openness isn't just aesthetic. It's strongly tied to creative achievement across domains. And researchers have found it predicts different kinds of creativity depending on the flavor of openness you have. So if you feel like your interests are all over the place, it might not be chaos. It might be breadth. It might be your brain's natural way of collecting ingredients. But then why does it hurt? Why does it feel like you're failing at life while other people pick one thing and just become that thing? Because society is built for a different machine. Most of the world rewards one clean folder, one label, one job title you can fit on a business card. And your brain is over here like a desktop with 30 icons named final_final2_real_final. Here's the part nobody says out loud. A multi-interest brain often has a different relationship with reward. Novelty and reward processing are connected in the brain. People vary in how strongly new pulls them. And there's a whole research world around novelty seeking and reward systems. That doesn't mean you have ADHD or you're broken. It just means some brains are more exploratory by default. Even modern theories about ADHD and evolution talk about exploration and novelty seeking as traits that can be useful in certain environments, even if they clash with modern schedules and classrooms. So when you try to force your mind into one narrow track forever, it can feel like you're trapping a wild animal in a shoebox. And that's why you keep starting over. It's not only procrastination, it's your brain trying to get back to oxygen. But okay, here's the trap. If your glitchy 90s computer keeps opening new programs, you know what happens. Everything slows down. Not because the computer is stupid, because the RAM gets eaten alive. That's what too many interests becomes when it turns toxic. Not the interests themselves, the constant task switching without a system. Your brain starts 12 downloads at once, none of them finish, and now the whole machine is overheating. You feel busy but weirdly empty, inspired but also ashamed, like you're collecting identities instead of building a life. And this is where I suspect the real emotional wound sits. People with too many interests aren't afraid of commitment, they're afraid of grief. Because choosing one path means closing 10 other doors. And for you, those doors don't feel like options. They feel like versions of you that could have been real. So you keep them all open in your mind, forever. You don't pick the art path because then you kill the business path. You don't pick the business path because then you kill the music path. You don't pick anything because picking feels like losing. And what's wild is that this matches how curiosity can work. It spikes around gaps and possibilities, and it fades when the gap closes. The moment you fully commit, the mystery dies a little. The fantasy becomes reality. The download finishes, and now you have to live with what you downloaded. So, what do you do with this? Not the corny answer. Not, just focus, bro. Here's the gentler truth. You don't need fewer interests. You need a better architecture for them. Because the secret advantage of your brain is pattern connection. You're the person who can mix fields. You can take something from filmmaking and use it in marketing. Take psychology and use it in design. Take music and use it in storytelling. People like you build weird bridges other people don't even see, but bridges still need pillars. So instead of asking, which one interest is the real me, try asking, what's the theme my brain keeps circling? Some people collect interests randomly. Others collect them like magnets around one hidden core. Maybe your core is systems, or beauty, or helping people, or winning, or making sense of chaos. When you find that theme, your interests stop being a messy desktop. They become folders. Still many files, but now they belong to something. And then you use seasons. I know, it sounds too simple, but stay with me. Your brain hates forever. Forever feels like prison. But your brain can handle for now. So you don't marry an interest. You date it seriously. You pick one main quest for the next season, and you let the other interests exist as side quests without guilt. That way your curiosity gets oxygen, but your life still gets progress. That's the philosophical layer, by the way. The part nobody teaches you. Your identity doesn't have to be one thing. Your identity can be a toolbox. Some people are a hammer. They're incredible at one thing. Respect. The world needs hammers. But some people are Swiss Army knives, messy, versatile, weirdly useful in situations nobody planned for. And if you're a Swiss Army knife trying to become a hammer, you'll spend your whole life feeling defective. So no, you're not lazy just because your mind loves variety. You might be a high openness, high curiosity, novelty-sensitive brain trying to survive in a world that only respects one clean label. So here's my one-word question for the comments. What's your current obsession? Just one word. Music, AI, fitness, art, business, psychology, cars, whatever it is. And if you're the person with too many interests, hear me when I say this. Your mind is a tool, not a trap.